Good morning, Governor. We're ready when you are.
Hey, good morning,
Good morning,
everybody.
everybody.
Welcome to the Nevada Department of Transportation Board of Directors meeting for Monday, January 9th at 9:30 a.m. And to kick us off, do the opening with the call to order and roll call.
Good morning, Governor Joe Lombardo. Lieutenant Governor Stavros Anthony is not with us today. Controller Andy Matthews.
Here.
Member Virginia Valentine. Member Stephen Esquaga.
Here.
Member Justin Cow.
Here.
And Member Gary Perea.
Here.
Governor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to section 1, item 2, public comment. First public comment is limited to comments on items of the agenda. No action may be taken upon the matter raised under public comment period unless the matter itself has been specifically included on an agenda or as an action item. Do we have any public comment to the south,
Governor, no one's approaching the podium.
north? Darren?
We have no one registered for the first public comment period at this time. I don't see anyone approaching.
So the items I were provided separately, I have 2 recorded letters for public comment. Where do we want to put those on the record?
Governor, the items that were received before 5 o'clock on the business day before the meeting were distributed to the board members and will be included in the minutes. Any items we received virtually today will also be included in the minutes.
Okay, so they don't need to be read publicly?
We do not read them. We include them in the minutes.
Okay, thank you. Seeing none, moving on. Section 1, item number 3, received a director's report. This is an informational only item. Director?
Thank you, Governor and members of the board. It's a pleasure to be here. This is my last board meeting, and I'm happy to be able to provide you just a little bit more information as we bring my term to a conclusion. So, first up, safety. As I have done for the last 4 years, safety is our first slide, and because safety is our top priority, and we have a challenge with safety here in the state. So, in 2022, we don't have all the final statistics for 2022 yet, and I'll note that even the statistics I'm sharing today are draft. The statistics aren't finalized until a year after the year closes because changes can happen as a result of the crashes in the coming months. So in 2022, we saw, as good news, an almost 1% drop in overall fatal crashes compared to calendar year 2021. And I hesitated on the good news because 2021 was our worst year in 15. So yes, we came off of that bad year, but we are still far behind where we started. Tragically, speeding and impairment remain the largest contributing factor, increasing fatal crashes. Another preventable factor statewide is the number of unbuckled fatalities, which rose more than 5% between 2021 and 2022. And that's one that I simply just don't understand. We talked a little bit about it last month in December about how pretty much everyone here has, for at least the majority of their life, if not all of their life, had seatbelts in cars. So that's something we need to continue to work on. To save lives and reduce fatal crashes, NDOT and our partners statewide use the Strategic Highway Safety Plan. As many of us are familiar, the plan has established statewide goals and strategies which focus on elements of traffic safety, including engineering, education, enforcement, and emergency response. Recently finalized, we've developed a speed management action plan, which will also be used to implement further multidisciplinary strategies to manage speed on Nevada highways. I wanted to mention the Nevada Advisory Committee on Traffic Safety, which also brings together NDOT representatives, the Department of Public Safety, and Nevada DMV, together with state and local agencies to provide guidance and approval and consensus on improving overall highway safety. All of these measures, coupled with local road safety plans, are initiatives that NDOT and our partners implement to reduce the total number of fatal crashes, as well as reinforce the importance of staying buckled up while in a vehicle, driving sober, and always following the speed limits on highways. I have 2 project updates. The first project update is the I-15 Tropicana interchange. As I mentioned, I think now for a couple of months, Tropicana is coming at the end of January. Tropicana will be taking down the north half of the existing Tropicana Bridge over I-15 and Frank Sinatra Drive, along with the flyover from southbound I-15 to eastbound Tropicana. It will be a region-wide traffic event that all drivers need to know about and start planning for now. As you can imagine, this will shift our traffic through the duration of the construction project, and we want to make sure everyone's aware of the major shifts and changes so they can prepare. Tropicana will start officially next Tuesday, January 17th, with the closure of the ramps from southbound I-15 to both east and westbound Tropicana. Those are long-term closures. The ramp from I-15 to westbound Trop will be offline for approximately 9 months. The ramp from I-15 to eastbound Trop will be down for approximately 18 while we rebuild the flyover. Tropicana also includes a 24/7 closure. I'm going to say a 24/3 because it's not actually a 7. 24/3 closure of Tropicana over I-15 and Frank Sinatra Drive. So I-15 will be closed, just so everybody hears me say it out loud. I-15 will be closed from Sunday morning, the morning of Sunday, January 22nd, or 2nd to Monday, or that's Friday. Oh, okay. Tropicana from Sunday, January 2nd to Monday, January 30th. So that's Tropicana's full closure. Biggest impact will be the complete closure of I-15, in both directions between Russell Road and Flamingo. So I-15 will be closed from 10 p.m. Friday, January 27th to 5 a.m. Monday, January 30th. Our public outreach team has been working for months with stakeholders, first responders, and other groups. We're also getting the message out via the media and social media. As I've been saying, I encourage everyone to download the I-15 Trop app and bookmark our website, as well as follow us on social medias. All of those are on the slide on the plate. So again, Tropicana will be closed from January. The entire Tropicana will be closed January 22nd to January 30th. That is a 24/7. And I-15 will be 24/3 for the weekend of Friday, January 27th through Monday, January 30th. The next project update is not as much of an update, it's just sort of a recap and appraisal for the board on the US 50 East Shore, Tahoe East Shore Corridor study. The board members, the appointed board members are familiar with this. We've had some members of the public coming and giving us public comment. And so I just wanted to continue to keep the board updated as to where we are and what we're doing. So first, I wanted to recap some of the reasons why the study is so vital. As we've illustrated when we previously shared this study, speed is a major concern, with the majority drivers operating at well over the speed limit. This is one of the reasons that in 2021, we launched our US 50 East Shore Corridor study to paint a blueprint for the future of the highway. And public input has been critical to this process. There have been 50 meetings and 770 public/stakeholder interactions to gather input. This includes gathering stakeholder and public feedback through 3 rounds of public listening tours. One of the key components of this project, or the corridor study, I should say, will be enhancing access to safely get on and off the highway while reducing the potentially dangerous excess speeds I mentioned earlier. In 3 high crash and constrained locations, we are looking at this is very soft language. We are looking at the potential to reconfigure the striping on the highway to provide safer access to and from the road, and also bring travel speeds down closer to the existing speed limit, 45 miles per hour. Those segments make up about a quarter of the corridor length. Our modeling shows the reconfiguration will result in an additional 2 minutes to travel through as part of the full 13-mile corridor. And I should note that that additional 2 minutes is not due to congestion. It's actually just how long it should take today if everybody wasn't speeding. So it's not an increase in travel time other than it's getting to speed compliance. We appreciate the feedback received during our public listening tours and those who were able to provide public comment during our previous state transportation board meetings. And I just want to highlight that we are actually continuing to review both internally the proposals that we've developed, as well as the proposals that some of the members of the public have submitted to us. We did receive some suggestions from the members of the public at our board meetings, and we're looking at those. We're evaluating the feedback, and after the plan is finalized, and it will be finalized here in the coming months, it will provide a high-level vision for future options to improve traffic safety and mobility for all transportation types. Whatever is in that final report, those strategies will be considered and prioritized as part of future projects in the corridor, and full implementation of the plan may take years or even decades and will be reevaluated as conditions change and time passes. But over and above these potential future improvements, we already have some enhancements planned on the highway. This includes plans to repave approximately 13 miles of US 50 between State Line and Spooner. And that project will be a needed repaving project aimed at preserving the roadway, but will also be done in a manner that is compatible with the corridor plan suggestions. All right, couple of updates. This next one, I just really want to take a moment to thank our dedicated highway maintenance staff for their work during the recent winter storms in Northern Nevada, recent and ongoing winter storms. It started about, I think, the day after Christmas, those storms started. And I remember I was having a conversation with our team on Tuesday about the rain, because it started as rain, and we were really worried about flooding and flooding impacts throughout the Northern Nevada region. We saw some mudslides and mud flows on the burn scar events from the Tamarack fire, and we were concerned about what we might see at some of our bridges. Fortunately, pros and cons, fortunately that rain event turned into a snow event. And so that enabled us to help work and stabilize and really look at our potential and reduce the concern for flooding. But it brought nearly 40 inches when it changed. It brought nearly 40 inches of snow near Mount Rose Highway, and Reno saw up to 1 foot of snow just over the New Year's weekend. Throughout the storms like this, our team works in staggered 12-hour shifts for 24-hour snow removal to help clear highways and keep Nevada mobile. They battled walls of snow and localized flooding to make the highway safe for traveling public. And I should note that they were doing that to make sure that everybody could get to the inauguration. There was a big event that happened in the middle of this, and a lot of those folks were driving up from Southern Nevada, including our controller. And so hopefully the roads were clear for you for your drive. We did, I mentioned a section of US 395 near California border in Douglas County was temporarily closed due to the heavy rains because we did have that mud flow. We also had brief closures of state roads in Douglas County due to localized flooding. Those roads have been safely reopened. Our crews utilized a controlled avalanche detonation system near the Mount Rose summit to loosen snow on the roadway slope, and NDOT plow operators were ready in position to remove the snow as it came down from the hill. We work with Mount Rose Ski to help us make sure that we keep that road open due to the heavy snow that they receive. Controlled releases like this help prevent unpredictable and potentially dangerous snow slides that could bury vehicles and motorists on the highway. As many Northern Nevadans did, crews also battled local power outages at our highway maintenance facilities, but they worked through it all to ensure our vital highway maintenance equipment remained fueled up and working the highways, even if power wasn't available for local fuel supplies. It is a particular amazing work amidst unprecedented high vacancies for highway maintenance positions. Throughout Northwestern Nevada, our overall staff vacancy is 45%, but our vacancy rate for highway maintenance workers is much higher. In Northwestern Nevada, where we see some of the state's strongest winter storms, our highway maintenance vacancy rates range from that 45% up to 75%, depending on which maintenance station you're looking at. And we currently have approximately 400 highway maintenance positions unfilled statewide. In some instances, these vacancy levels have left us with only one maintenance worker responsible for an entire night shift of removing highway snow across an entire region or multiple counties. And I'll note, we had that situation up in Western Nevada. We had one maintenance worker responsible for keeping 207 Kingsbury Grade open during this event. And ultimately, we decided to move him down to 395. It's a higher priority corridor. We let 207 go. And then we got back to it when we were able to make sure 395 and the major corridors, not that Kingsbury wasn't, but where the more significant corridors were open, then we moved them back up and reopened 207 and Mount Rose corridor. I just want to thank everyone on our maintenance crews for helping keep Nevada safe. They don't, unfortunately, the driving public isn't always friendly to them during these events. And I assure them the driving public is thankful, even if they're not showing it when they drive by. And so I just want to thank our team for everything that they did and continue to do, as it is actively raining, I know, in Carson, throughout the valleys, and I know it's snowing up in the mountains. So we got another 10 days or so of these rivers, these atmospheric rivers that are impacting the state, and the team will do what they can, as they always do, to keep the roads open. All right, now a little bit of fun. Name a snowplow contest winners. So many of the other states have snowplow naming contests, and so we learned from that, and we know that our members of our state are really excited. They like our signs when we put things, on the roadway signs over I-15 when we have fun Thanksgiving messages and Christmas messages that remind folks about safety. I know they also like to participate in naming our snowplows. So this was our first year, and the winning names, we have 3 names, 1 for each district, and an honorable mention. So in Southern Nevada here in District 1, the winning name was Cirque du Snowlay. In District 2 up in the Reno Carson area, the winning name is Sierra Scoop. And in Elko, in District 3, Elko, Ely, and the northeastern part of the state, Nevada Thaw Enforcement. I thought, Governor, you might appreciate that one. And then lastly, the last one is an honorable mention. So it's not going to be put onto a plow, but maybe it'll come back for next year. I hope it comes back for next year. Snow Be Gone Kenobi. Snow Be Gone Kenobi. All right. And that concludes my report.
Well, thank you, Tracy. Just a couple questions, or I guess as a result of your report, those vacancies you mentioned, is that going to be any continued issue for the next 10 days and what we're dealing with?
Yes, indeed, Governor. The vacancies, it will continue to be an issue. Our team, they're doing everything they can but it's an all hands on deck. So our supervisors and our Super 2s, they're not normally out there having to plow the snow, but they're capable, and and they certainly have their CDLs. So they're out there, they're plowing the snow. We have some headquarters team members that were formerly in district, and so they're out there and they're plowing the snow. We have all hands on deck managing it. They're getting overtime. I ran into 3 of our team members on 580 the other day on the way into the office, and I pulled over and I was talking to them while they were waiting for some repairs of their blower. And they told me between the 3 of them, they'd had 72 hours overtime in the week prior. So they are doing what they can. The NDOT team, I know you'll find moving forward, is the best team in the state. They are passionate, they are committed, and they are going to do what they need to do to keep the roads open.
Okay, so I guess it's a matter of operational concern with them working 72 hours of overtime. Is there any ability for Department of Emergency Management to help supplement that labor?
Unfortunately, plow operations are a very specific skill. You need to have a CDL, and you need to know the roads. If you don't know the roads, it can actually create some legal liability for us, as well as long-term damage that needs to be fixed. So at this point in time, we are doing what we can, and we will keep the roads open as they have been. We are looking at alternates if hiring doesn't change. And I know you had some executive orders last week really looking to help maintain recruitment and retention. So if during the coming months, if that isn't able to change, the team has some ideas and strategies on what we can do to improve it for next season.
All right, thank you. And the other item is, that discussion we had about recognizing the people that named the plows?
Yeah.
You figure out something for that?
Yeah, so I think we're sending them certificates, and we weren't going to do a public recognition, but we were going to send them some certificates. I know one of the women who suggested Sierra Scoop, she already heard, and she was so excited just to know that her name was picked. So she's a diehard winter person. She lives right next to one of our team members, and she lives next to DJ Governor, the gentleman who's operating all the cameras for you up there. You'll have to meet him at the end of the meeting. She's his neighbor, and she was over the moon that we picked one of her names. So
Can you tell her I said thank you? All right, any questions from any board members or concerns or comments? All right, not hearing none, we'll move on. Thank you, Tracy, for that report. We'll move on to section 2, consent agenda, items 4 through 16. Consent agenda, all matters of this section are considered by the Transportation Board of Directors to be routine and may be acted upon in one motion unless a board member requests that an item be taken separately. Items taken separately from the consent agenda by a board member at the meeting will be heard in order in section 3. And I understand there may be one item asked to be removed.
Yes, Governor. I'd like to request that the minutes from the December 19th, 2022 meeting be taken off the consent agenda and considered separately. Thank you.
All right, do we need to have a motion on that, or can we move forward?
no, you can just move forward and hear that after the consent agenda is approved.
Okay, so at this time, we'll consider items 5 through 16. As a matter of practice, it's usually approved as one item. Do I have a motion or any concerns by any more board members?
Governor, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda except for the item 4, only the item 4.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor for approval of the consent agenda items 5 through 16, say aye.
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 Hearing any nays? All right, the consent agenda passes as written, as presented. And moving on to section 3, items taken separately from the consent agenda. We have a motion for number 4 to be heard separately.
I'll make a motion to approve item 4, approval of the minutes of the December 19th meeting, Governor.
And myself and Director Matthews will abstain from that. Does that require any issues if do we have enough members to do that, Darren?
Yeah, you're okay to take a vote on that, Governor.
Okay, there's a motion for approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those against, nay? Hearing none, we'll approve item number 4 under section 3 for approval. So moving to section 4, additional business items. Item number 17, condemnation resolution number 479 under US 6, Nye County, MM Holdings LLC, 1 owner, 3 parcels for possible action.
Governor, thank you. We have a project that we're pursuing in the Tonopah region. This first condemnation resolution, we are looking to negotiate with that property owner for 3 separate pieces of property or easements. We have not heard back from them, and so we are looking to move forward with the condemnation resolution, but we'll continue to work to negotiate to find a willing seller, willing buyer resolution, but if not, condemnation does allow us to move forward.
Any questions, concerns? Can I have a motion for approval?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve. I just wanted to say that they do have some concerns with that, but I hope that they can negotiate with the property owners and come up to a good resolution.
Christina, did you hear the?
I did.
Okay, Gary. All right, there's a motion on the table. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those against? Motion. Item number 17 is approved. Moving on to section 4, item 18, condemnation resolution number 480 US 6, Nye County, Nevada Select Royalty Inc., 1 owner, 1 parcel for possible action.
Members of the board, similar to the previous item, we have been negotiating with the property owner for this parcel as well. We have not yet reached the conclusion, but due to the timeline, we do need to move forward with a condemnation resolution. As with the prior item, we are hopeful that we will be able to reach a solution in negotiations prior to having to move forward with condemnation.
All right, thank you. Have a motion for approval.
So moved.
Who was that? Was that you?
Controller Matthews.
All right, there's a motion on the floor for approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Hearing none, item number 18 is approved. Item number 19, condemnation resolution number 481 US 6, Nye County. I guess that's pronounced Rippey. Firstman Estate, 2 owners, 1 parcel for possible action.
I thank you, Governor. As I mentioned in the last 2, we will continue to try to negotiate. And in this case, we can pull this item from the agenda because we've been able to come to an agreement on those. So this item does not require action by the board.
All right, I'm hearing that this item can be pulled. We'll do so and move on to item number 20 for consideration for approval of Director for the Nevada Department of Transportation. Am I presenting that one?
Yeah, either you can present and then ask for the motion, or another board member could make the motion. It's up to you, Governor.
Do we have any other board member that wants to present that?
Should I just-
Yeah.
This is Controller Matthews. I move for the approval of Tracy Larkin as director effective January 17th, 2023.
Is that accurate, Darren?
Yes, sir.
Okay, as far as that date?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we have, do I have a board member? Is that a motion you presented there, Andy?
Yes, Governor, it is.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
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 And all those against, nay. Hearing none. Welcome aboard. I don't know if Ms. Larkin is on the air.
I am, and if I could just take a minute, I would just like to say I'd really like to thank the board for this opportunity. I really am looking forward to serving the people of Nevada once again. As most of you know, I have served within the Department of Transportation for over a lot of years, a lot of decades. But I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank Director Swallow for her service and the passion that she brought to the position. So thank you.
And I would like to repeat that. Ms. Swallow, I want to thank you for all your service you have performed up till now, and I hope goodwill, good wishes to you moving forward. And so we approved that item, am I correct?
Yes.
Darren,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Correct.
you don't even know how to work the system. All right, okay, welcome aboard. Moving on to item number 21, executive session. Receive information from legal counsel regarding potential and existing litigation involving a matter on which the Transportation Board of Directors has supervision, control, jurisdiction, or advisory power.
Governor, we have no items on the executive session today.
Okay, hearing no items, that requires no action, correct?
Correct.
Okay, moving on to item 22, public comment. A period devoted to comments by the general public about matters relevant to the board's jurisdiction will be held. No vote may be taken upon a matter not listed on the posted agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have any public comment to the south?
Governor, nobody is approaching the podium.
I asked for the south first. That's all it was. You can stay there.
My name is Thomas Irwin, spelled E-R-W-I-N, with the law firm Irwin Thompson Failers in Reno. I'm representing BlackRock Gold Corporation, commenting on agenda items 17, 18, 19 for the highway project north of Tonopah. The company has conducted exploration on that project. It's a prime project. They've expended about $30 million in exploration, and they have discovered a highly valuable silver deposit there. So our concern, as expressed to the department, is that the mineral rights owned by the company be preserved. And in conversation with Mr. McReynolds and communications with other members of the department, I think we'll be able to come to agreement to preserve those mineral rights so the project can go forward and not be adversely affected by fee estate taking, which would include the minerals, because it's our understanding that the state really needs the surface use rights. And I just would note to Gerald Boffman, the Vice President of Nevada Select Royalty, is here representing the company. That is the company that owns the property, and they have leased it and optioned it off to our client, BlackRock Gold Corporation, which presently is in feasibility study preparation to design and construct a mine out there in the next couple of years. So we've made our record with the department, and I think we'll be able to negotiate satisfactory documentation to reflect those mineral rights. If you have any questions about the project or about the legal issues, I'm free to answer those for you.
Any directors have any questions? Carol, do you have any comment?
There's no comment in the south.
Just identify yourself.
Jerry Boffman with Nevada Select Royalty. We are optioning the property to BlackRock Gold, and like Thomas said, they've spent a lot of money there, and we just want to make sure that we preserve our mineral rights, and we actually have a royalty on the project as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Governor, members of the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Aaron? Go ahead.
Thank you, gentlemen. For the record, my name is Janet Murphy, Administrator of Tahoe Douglas Utility District. And I know they touched bases a little bit on a project that's going on at Highway 50 East corridor. And those of you, I've already been speaking in front of this board, and I do want to start off first by saying congratulations to Governor Lombardo. I know Stavros isn't here, and to Comptroller Matthews, and congratulations, Tracy. So anyway, just to give you a brief thing on my background, Kenny Gwynn had hired me as an advisor to the legislation many, many years ago to represent the Tahoe Township. So I'm very familiar with the Tahoe Township. I've been sitting on Dead Man's Curve for the last 30 years and also running the utility district up there, the entire area that you're proposing as far as the reconfiguration. Our district is the one that put in the alternative. There's nobody more familiar with this area than Tahoe Douglas District. And I wanted to make sure that the folks, the 3 new folks that are on this board, get a copy of the alternative and have my information that can contact me at any time. There has been much involvement. This is what I've done. Like I said, I've been the one that has protected, I guess if you want to call it that, Tahoe Township for the last 30 years. I know the Tahoe Township, the district knows better than anybody. Our sewer line is up and down the highway. As far as the proposal that Wood Rogers has expressed, it has a lot of flaws, and biggest ones are safety issues. I'm also a board member on the Tahoe Douglas Fire Protection Agency, so we're first responders. And the biggest issue is that the furthest southbound train lane, they want to convert it into a walking, biking trail. So that means there would be one southbound lane. And I just want to inform you of things that you have to remember. Number one, our biggest concern up there in first responders, evacuation. That's huge. Look at Paradise. They did a road diet and a road reduction, and people perished because of that factor. We want the 4 lanes. My proposal is narrowing the lanes, keeping the 4 lanes, which produces slower traffic. People have a tendency statistically, and this information that I received a year ago was one of your members, Darren, who's sitting here today, who advised me as one way of slowing traffic down. Also, by narrowing the lanes, you can also put in a center lane. As you heard earlier, my Miss Swallow had said, the biggest need is for turning on and off roads, right? So if you have a center lane or a medium, at least the medium and the center lane will reduce your crashes because of the fact it separates the oncoming. And anybody, first responders, like I know with the fire department, we do not like K-rails because they want to do a K-rail to separate the biking, walking trail with the single lane. Just remember, we have weather factors up there. My 3 minutes is up.
Yes.
Darn it. Would you please, I am pleading with you. The township, ask any of the legislatures, ask anybody, ask any of your former governors have worked with. I know that township, and I'm telling you, it's not a good plan. And I'm pleading with you, if you please, and they extended it to look at the alternative, but I would rather, if you would, please try the alternative first if you're only going to restripe. Let's see if that works first, because I know if you try anything else, it'll never go back.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank
Can
you.
you leave your documents?
Yes, I do. I have a few of them because I wanted to make sure that the new 3 board members haven't gotten them. Thank you, sir.
You can leave them there with Darren at the conclusion.
Good morning, Governor.
Morning.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Learnhardt. I live in the same subdivision as Janet Murphy does, and I'm here to speak against the NDOT lane reduction. I used to live close to the town of Paradise. That's why I'm starting with this. The Camp Fire happened in 2018, 2 years after the town of Paradise decided to reduce its main access road from 4-lane to a 2-lane highway, just like what is happening here. They did this against the severe concerns of the citizens and the backdrop of a previous fire, all to increase the green alternative modes of transportation, such as bike lanes, pedestrian zones, and to increase commerce. 87 locals were taken over by the fire during the time they evacuated and died burning to death in their cars. The East Shore Development Plan by NDOT and TARPA is exactly the same folly. In the name of fueling tourism, advertising the pristine beauty of Tahoe to attract more well-paying tourists, these agencies, originally designed to preserve the lake, are destroying it. They have very little data to support the feasibility of their wish list. It also does not include the local residents' wishes. The Star Alliance, a tourism lobbying group, sees bike races as positive attractants, readily sacrificing accessibility and denying that they are creating a massive congestions. But the fact that visitors and residents alike might be attracted to Tahoe for reasons that don't include traffic jams eludes them. After local residents and businesses pointed out the shortcomings of NDOT's plan, such as interfering with sewer line that runs under the pavement, or the newly rebuilt Skyline fence, or expensive storm drains configurations that would have to be re-engineered, they have quietly changed their plan yet again. This time they abandoned safety and accessibility for the Vogue bike lanes. We do not want to change back to where we basically give up our safety. For more than 20 years, locals have begged NDOT to make 5D safer, but we are not trading bike lanes for safety. There is plenty of federal land in the basin to create a bike path. The planned bike lane to Spooner Summit can easily be connected to the Tahoe Rim Trail, where it doesn't interfere with traffic, nor would there be any need to put down new asphalt. After individual Douglas County Commissioner has voiced their objection to this plan, it is time for the new administration under Governor Joe Lombardo to stop this road diet in the interest of the local residents and the lake that we call home. Thank you.
Ma'am, I missed your name. What was your name?
Elizabeth Learnhardt.
Elizabeth, do you mind leaving your documents?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else from the north? Christina, checking with you one more time. Anybody from the south?
No one from the south.
Okay, we will close public comment at this time. Thank you for everybody's participation, and we'll have an action or a possible action for adjournment.
So move.
Good job.
Good be home.
All right, all those in favor for adjournment?
Aye.
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 All right, this will conclude our meeting. Thank you, everybody, for your participation. Lori, anything you need? Nope. All right. Thank you, everybody.